Howdy! How's all my YouTubers out there today? I'm recording this on Friday evening, and it's going to be recorded in steps and then all edited together, so you'll get to see it all at one time. But I wanted you to see what I'm doing here. This is the piece that I was asked to do on the live show Monday night. Somebody wanted me to do something with mermaids on it. So I wanted to show you what I'm going to do. Now, I bought these chargers at the Michael's store, and it's a plastic plate is what it is. And we'll lay the measuring stick to it here. These measure, well, need to turn it around the other way. There we go. These measure 13 inches across. From one side to the other side, it's 13 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the vignette right here in the center of it, and I've cut my circle. The way I did that is I took a compass. You can get these any place they sell office supply stuff. I got this at the Walmart where I get most of my stuff. And what I did is I took the point of it and I set it right in the center. And then I moved the little pencil out to where I wanted my line. That's where I'm going to want my line to go, right around the edge. And then I took my paper. Now, I'm using watercolor paper. It's a 9 by 14 inch piece of paper. And I determined where my edge was going to need to be at the one side of it. And then I set my point down. And then I ran the pencil all the way around the edge to make my circle. And then I took the scissors and I cut out the circle. Alright, now, this is what's going to go in the center of the charger. And this is what's going to have the vignette on it. And there's going to be a lot of elements go to this. But first you got to lay in your background. Now I went and got my Magicals. And it's made by Lindy's, and I've got 5 colors of this, and I picked the green and the blue for the background, and they've been sitting for a little bit, so shaking them up good, get the color all mixed in so it goes on good. And then I'm gonna spray it on, and since that's watercolor paper, it's gonna make the paper curl. And I may have to set a book or something on it while it dries in order for it to lay out good and flat. But we'll start by just kind of spreading that paint around on the paper. We're going to lay in our background. Now, since this is a mermaid theme, obviously, our background is going to have something to do with the sea. It's going to look like the sea when we're done. The water is usually kind of a blue-green for the sea. And again, I'll take my knife and just kind of move the paint around a little bit. For the background here on the piece. It's going to have a lot of things going on with it, so a lot of that will be covered up, but you want the background to be thoroughly coated so that anything that does show has a nice coat of paint on it. Now I'm going to come back with a paper towel and blot off my excess. Ease that up off of there and dry my mat off good. Lay it back down. Dry it a little more. Just blot that off of there. We got our pretty little background going. Now I'm going to set that aside. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be getting out the things that I'm going to use for my picture on there. And this is a Stampendous kit that's got the die cuts to go along with the stamps, and it's got some little sayings on it. Now, I don't know that I'm going to use them little sayings, but it's got a fish and a turtle, and it's got the mermaid on there. And I'm going to be painting on some rocks. I'm going to be using some texture paste, but first that background has to dry good before we can do any of that. So while the background's drying, I'm going to cut out, and this is going to be three-dimensional when I get done with it, so I'm going to cut out several pieces of the fish and the mermaid, and this looks like it might be a little seaweed in here. I might be able to do a little something with that, but probably not, because I have something else that I'm going to use for the seaweed and stuff, and you'll see as we get into that. So I'm going to stop recording, but it'll be right back for you when I come back and in the edit and all. But this, I'm going to work with this while the background is drying out so that I can put the rocks, paint the rocks and stuff on it. So with that, we'll just take a little break and you'll see me right back here in a second. Okay, I'm back for step 2. I've got these all stamped out. Now what we're using is 3 of the mermaids, because these are going to stack to make them look dimensional. And then we've got 3 of the fish and 3 of the turtles. And I got 3 more fish and 3 more turtles, because I'm going to put 2 fish and 2 turtles in the vignette. All right. In order to do these, first I've got to paint them in, and then I'm going to put them through the die cutter and cut them out. And I got the die cuts laying up here, and I'll put these through my die cutter off camera, and we'll come back then when I get that done and go to step number 3. But I thought I'd give you a start here on showing you how I color these in. These are Zig markers. I've got a whole set of these things. There's 80 of them to the set, and you can get smaller sets if you want to, but I wanted to have as many colors available as I could get in order to color all the things that I need, to get painted up. But these are called Zig markers. It's clean color real brush markers is what they're called. And you can find them in a number of places all over the internet. But I pulled out a few colors here to do what I want to do with coloring these, and I thought that I'd bring you back so that you could see a little bit of how I do that. I won't bore you to death with everything that I'm going to be doing with it, but this will give you an idea to start with. And these just have little brush tips to them. They're watercolor markers, and you can add water if you want to dilute down the color some. You can blend these with water to give shadowing effects and that sort of thing. But I'm just going to paint these in a little bit here. Now I wouldn't have to do the entire piece on 2 of them since they're going to stack up, and kind of cover each other, but I am going to do it anyway because I don't want to run the risk of when I stack them, something showing that isn't completely painted. So yes, I will be painting the entire piece on every one of these. And that way it will look all finished. Hopefully my hand's not covering that all up so that the camera can't see what I'm doing here. Working with GoPro here today on this one, since I was going to have to break it down into segments as I do it, because I didn't want you to be sitting here for hour after hour watching me do this. It's going to be a drawn out process because of all the steps that's involved in it. She's going to be a red-headed mermaid. With dark red hair, similar to mine. And just like with coloring, all you got to do is stay in the lines. You know, just stay in the lines. That's all it takes. And you just paint this color on. That's the difference between this and trying to use like wax crayons, is this is a paint. So you're painting it on instead of doing the coloring. It's a nice relaxing process. I don't try to rush it. I just let the paint flow on, just stroke it on. For those of you that say that you can't draw nothing but water out of a kitchen sink, this is the way you can do art and do it very simply. Is they have all different kinds of stamp kits on the market that you can get. And then get a die cut machine, and then you just lay the die on there, run it through the machine, and it just cuts it out. That's all it takes to do that. Now, I'm going to want to do some of the flesh tone on her, and since there's all this extra paper here, see, I can stroke it on the edge of the paper to see what the color looks like. That's what that color looks like. And then I pulled this one out in case I might want to use that one. I think I like that one a little bit better. It's maybe a little bit lighter. Since she's a redhead, she should have light complexion. So I think I'll go with this one. As a matter of fact, I'll set that one off to the side so I don't get it confused on any of the other ones. I might use that as a blending tool if I need to do any blending. We'll just put a nice light little coat of this on her skin. Looks like she's holding a pearl. These have nice little fine tips on them, so getting into little small places like she got her thumb up there on the pearl, you can get in that little tiny spot to get that in there without getting the paint all over everything. Come down here and get her tummy a little bit. Then I go back over it. Any place I see that the paint didn't take, I go back over a little bit. Okay, she's looking pretty doggone good right there. Now, I'll set that pen aside, and we want to do the top, and I'm going to do probably a little bit of blending here. I think I want to go in with my lighter color first. I'm going to go in with the yellow, and yellow should come right over here on this side, and then right here on this side a little bit. Then we're going to use the orange. Alright, now I need to find my blender. Got a blender pencil in here. If I don't find it, I can try something else, but I've dropped these things so many times and got them so mixed up in the kit that it's difficult to find anything. This isn't the blender, but it's close. So we'll just kind of, there we go. Pull that out just a little bit there. There, that's looking good. I'll blend that a little bit. Now, for the mermaid's tail, we want to do a little blue and a little green in there. Just kind of mix those a little bit. And I've got a couple different shades of green. And I've got a... Well, okay, since the last time you saw me, I've been a busy camper. I got all of the pieces painted, and I got them all cut out on the die cutter, ready to rock and roll. And I flattened out the piece that we're going to use for the background of the vignette, and I flattened it with a big old heavy book. Then I put a little bead of glue around the edge there of the paper and stuck it right down to the center of the charger. Now, before I go to doing any more to the background, I want to determine what's the top and what's the bottom, you know, what we're going to do here. So the best way I know to do that is I looked at the back of the charger, and it's got some print on it down here. So I went right to the center. I laid a straight edge down right to the center of that, right up to the top edge, and I took just a little dab of paint and put a little dab of paint right there at the top. And then I turned it around enough that I could see top and bottom, and I put another little dab of paint right there on the top. Now that'll wipe off real nice when I get done with this, but this way I have a focal point for what my top is and where I want to lay my stuff in down here. Now this is sticking up here a little bit on the bottom, but that doesn't matter at this point because we're going to come in with some molding paste, and we're going to lay in a bottom on that, and that'll hold this all down here on the bottom good. And it's going to be like rocks down here on the bottom is what I'm going for. That's what I'm shooting for. That's my goal. Now this is my old palette that I use to do this stuff with. Here's the molding paste. It's Liquitex molding paste, or modeling paste, I guess you'd pronounce it, modeling paste. And it says that it's a gel medium. And let me get the lid loosened up here. Oh, it's so cold. My arthritis is just having a fit. Coming a big old snowstorm here today. And this is what it looks like on the inside of the jar. It's like a big old thick pasty stuff. And we're going to put some of that down here on the palette. And then we're going to add some color to it. Now, we could just put it down white, let it dry, and then paint it. But, you know, why not kill two birds with one stone? Here, we'll just put the paint to it, mix it in, and then put it on the piece, and that saves us a step later on. Now this, shake this up real good. This is Bear. It's a color sample. It's called a deep base color. It's kind of a bluish gray looking color. I really like it. It's so versatile for so many different things. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of that paint right there to that. Ooh, that's way too much, but hey. When it decided to flow, didn't it? We can always add some more modeling paste to it and thicken it back up. But we'll Mix that in. You just don't want to see any white modeling paste, like there's a chance of that with as much paint as I put in there. Man, I didn't expect it to flow that fast. We'll kind of scrape a little bit of that over here to the side. And you can get that modeling paste from Amazon. You can get it from Michael's. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. Most any place that has craft supplies will have modeling paste. And there's different brands of it too. You just, get whatever suits you. Now I'm going to wipe down the lip of that jar a little bit there and put the lid back on it so I don't spill it all over the table. As you can see, I got projects as far as the eye can see. I hate having to clean it up, because I clean it up, then I can't find a doggone thing for a month, and then I've got it all laid back out again. But I live alone, so hey, the only person I got to please is me. Now, we've got our focal point up here at the top. That's our focal point, and we're going to lay down our rocks right here along the side. And as you see, my palette knife fell off and made a big old gummy mess there on my charger. Is all I got to do for that is take a little piece of paper towel and wipe that off of there. It's wet, so it's easy to remove right now. Get it off now before it hardens up. Well, it'd be nice if I wasn't making a bigger mess than I'm cleaning up, wouldn't it? This way you get to see what not to do, I guess. Wipe that down. Just like that. Alright, now, we got that cleaned up. Now, there's going to be rocks down in here, so this is going to need to look kind of craggy. We don't want it smooth. She's going to kind of look like she's sitting down here in the bottom of the sea, playing with the pearl that she's found. I'm knocking the camera around, sorry about that. I'm getting it all over the side again, but we know where our focal point is, right here where the line is, so we just keep all the rocks down here on the bottom of the sea, and that modeling paste will help hold that paper down to the charger. I probably need to be using my smaller knife with this. Be a little simpler, I think. Get a little more of that modeling paste off of the palette. This always cleans up pretty good. I take it first the trash can, scrape everything off of it that I can, and then I take it to the sink and finish cleaning it up. Just put some craggy rocks down here on the bottom of the sea. Now we'll be putting a lot of things to this, so don't get excited and say, well, that don't look much like rocks. It will before I'm done with it. I didn't say this is going to be a fast project. I'll make some little lines in that. Like rocks are kind of piled up on each other. Easier to do it now than when it's dry, so just I imagine that the bottom of the ocean is not real smooth, so we'll rough it up a little bit there. Alright, now I'm going to take another piece of paper towel and clean up where I got it on the edge of this charger again. And before I do any more steps on this molding paste has to dry. How long will it take? Well, I'll let you know when I come back. And it may not take as long as it's going to take me to come back, because I got a few things that I got to do, but you're going to see it momentarily. And so there's our top focal point. Here's our bottom right here. As a matter of fact, just to define that, I'm going to take the palette knife. I'm going to put a little line right there, because it's going to be covered up. So that's a little line to indicate where the center of the bottom is. A little higher on this side. And we'll put some fish and stuff over here on this side. And it's going to look really nice. We're going to get some moss, and we're going to do a lot of things to this. So there you have that part of it. So I hope that that's fairly clear to you on what I'm doing so far. If you have any questions, of course, you can put them in the comment section of the video, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. And of course, I'll be going over all this on Monday night's live show at 8 p.m. But I'm going to cut the camera off, and I'll be back momentarily here for you to see the next step. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm back. And this is all nice and dry. And it has been about 3.5 hours. And it's nice and dry, nothing coming off on my hands. So there you see it for what it is. And we got our top mark right up here on the charger. And I've got some tacky glue here that I'm going to be putting down on this, because we're going to put some moss on it. And that's going to be our seaweed. And this glue dries clear. We don't need it all over everything, but it's going to be around the edge up here. We're going to put some moss. It's not going to be a whole lot, just a little bit, just kind of decorate it up a little bit here. Over on this side, maybe a little down in here on our rocks. Alright, now just going to sprinkle this around on that glue. Break it up a little bit. Put it around the edges. Just sprinkle it in. There's a little piece of foam from a project got mixed in with it, I guess. Remove that off of there. And we're just going to sprinkle this dust. This is the end of what I had of the moss in the bag from several projects I've done. So we're going to use it up. Like I say, nothing goes to waste. We use every little bit of everything. And sprinkle it around in that glue. Just pat it down. Got a little glue on my fingers there. Got stuff sticking to me, so we'll get rid of that. And just keep pushing it down there. Let it stick in. It'll shake off whatever isn't sticking to the glue. And scrape that all back up. See, there's a lot of it left, so we're going to put some more on there. A little more glue. There's some's going to come loose. Just pull off any loose parts. We're going to put a little more glue to hold a little more down. Bottle's about half empty, so it takes a minute for it to get eased down there. But this covers up our edge a little bit, our raw edge. We'll sprinkle that background there over top of that wet glue. worked in. I'll take the palette knife and tap it in so I don't get it all over my hands. We got one more down here. Scrape that up. Sprinkle that over it. Now there will inevitably, before this is over with, be some dust that we'll end up throwing away off of it, but it's going to be so minor that it ain't worth complaining about. I'm going to put a little bit more glue down here. Catch a little bit of it as I bring it back this direction. Right over top of that glue. Tap it down in there. There's some pieces of it. Whoop. Whoa. Sorry about that. Everything going cattywampus on me here. Let's get the camera straightened back up. There we go. Drop the knife and knock the camera over with my sleeve. Now, knock the rest of that off of there that's just kind of hanging in midair. Well, there's a piece of glue back on. Not enough glue there to catch it. So we'll lay a nice piece of glue down on there. We'll bring that back over. Lay it right in there and tap it down. It's caught now. Won't be going nowhere. Okay. We'll tap it off again. Make sure we got all the little fuzzy pieces, loose pieces knocked loose. And that makes a nice little frame. There we go. Now, we'll get all the dust knocked up out of the way there and lay it there. Picture back down. And there again, there's the top right there. We always try to keep the top acclimated for the project so that we know where it is. Now, we're ready to start laying in our vignette. And to do that, I'm going to need this tape. This is double-sided foam tape. And I'm going to take some scissors. Yeah, easy for me to say. I got so much stuff up here. Goodness gracious. There we go. Found some scissors. We cut a piece off of it. Now here's our three little mermaids. These are going to get stacked one on top of each other. They're all painted alike. And we're going to make them three-dimensional. Now, to do that, let me move the charger out of the way first. Get me some room to work here. Set the charger aside. We'll get this dust pushed back up out of the way here, so we don't get that all over the tape. We're going to take one of our little mermaids, and we're going to take some tape. It doesn't matter. These are all about alike. We're going to take just little strips of this tape and put on the back of her. This makes each one of these stand up off of the other one. And then we're going to offset them just a little bit. And that's what's going to give it the three-dimensional look. So, take it and put that right on that side. And put this right on this side. Put this right up there on her head, like that. And we'll get another piece here. And actually, I'm going to cut that one in two, because I'm going to put part of it down her tail here. Oops, that's too big. Got to cut it down a little bit more. I don't want any of it sticking over. So we'll put that down there. And this piece I can put over here on this side. Then we'll take a strip of it. Let's see if I need to cut this down any. Yeah, it's going to be a little too long. So we'll cut a little piece off of there. And we'll put that down right along there. That's not sticking over. And I got this little piece that can go on this part of her tail. It's a little tiny. It's, I don't know if I like that blue or not. Let's see. Let's mark it down here a little bit. I think it's too dark for what I'm looking for. Let me find a different shade of blue. Maybe this one or this one. Let's try these up here. Test them out. That's pretty. Now let's see what this one looks like. That's a little bright. So I think I'll go with this other one. Alright. And this is how we learn. Now, we'll come in here on her tail a little bit with some of the blue. Just stroke it into those fins. On this side a little bit. Then we're going to go right around the outside edge of her with a little of this blue. It's kind of a shadowing effect around the edge. Then I'm going to come in with a little of this green. I think I like this green pretty well. I don't know. That might be a little bright. This one, I think might be a little too avocado-y maybe. Oops. Well, let's try not to knock the camera over. Alright, now let's try this green. That's pretty close to what I'm looking for, I think. So come in with a little of that. I really like these pens. The colors are so vibrant. You get some markers and they're so watered down and no pigment to them. And then I just kind of blend that green right into that blue. If you need to come back with the blue again, you can always do that. So let me just set that blue up there so that I remember what I used as I do the other ones, because I want them to match. They don't have to be exact, you know, since we're stacking them, but they need to be pretty close. Now, let's see. How about, there's that orange we used. Maybe take a little bit of this green, kind of stroke over that a little bit. And there is our mermaid painted up. I could do put a little color, I think, on that pearl. Maybe just leave the little white highlight in the middle of it. And then I could make her lips a little red. And I could put a little blue on her eyes. Just a touch. There she is. Alright, so we got one mermaid painted, and I got to do the fish and the turtles and do all, I think there's like 15 total pieces here, so I'll get these all painted and then I'll be back. And it'll be momentarily for you. Okay, I'm back. I've got all the tape on the back of these pieces, and I've got our mermaid all done up, and both turtles and both fishes. Now we got to peel the backing paper off this mermaid here and get her placed on the charger, and the same with the two fish and the two turtles. So just take it one step at a time here. Ease that backing paper up off of that tape. Some of these pieces are pretty small, so got to be kind of gentle with them. I don't want to tear my work. But I thought you probably needed to see the process here. Well, there we go. I thought so anyway. There we go. Popped it off there. I could probably do it faster if my eyes was a little bit better. See, as you get older, your eyes ain't so great. And it looks like I probably need another little piece of tape there on the other side of it too. Cut a little piece of that. Stick this on this side, give it a little foundation. Pull the backing paper off. Now, setting these pieces, it's going to be absolutely critical to know where the top is, because you don't want to get them on and then find out that you got your top sitting like at the 3 o'clock level or the 9 o'clock level. That would be disastrous. But shouldn't get that far off of it, because we know we've already got the bottom of the C down here at the bottom of the picture. So we got all the backing paper peeled off. Now, we got our top right there, and I'm going to put our little mermaid right down here at the bottom of the C, holding her pearl. So there she is. Her head is pointing right straight there at the top of this vignette. Now, I've already taken the liberty of peeling off the fish. I still have to do the turtles yet. I think I'll put one fish up here and press it down good. Yeah, that's holding on good. I want to make sure they're going to stay good. This double-sided tape is pretty strong stuff. I'm going to put another fish right about there. Then we got our little turtles. And we're going to peel the backing paper off of the turtles. Well, there it goes. And I'm going to put a turtle, I think, right up in here. Really press him down. And then I'm going to come in on this one and peel the backing off of it. And there we've got a second little sea turtle that we're going to put right down in there. Two fish and two turtles swimming around our little mermaid. And I'll try to turn this up a little bit. Set the camera up so you can see the vignette. There it is in all of its glory. Now the only thing I have to do is put a hanger on the back of this. I want the glue and everything to be good and dry because I won't have to flip it face down to do that. And I have to take this little bit of paint off there, and that'll be easy removed. So there it is, the vignette with the mermaid. This will be up on the Etsy store probably sometime tomorrow after the glue dries and I get the hanger on it. And I'll tell you, for the hanger on this, I've got them here in the drawer of the desk. Well, yeah, I know I do. I put it in there anyway. Let's see. Got it marked off. No, here they are. It's these regular hangers that you hang pictures with. That's what's going to go on the back, and they will be applied with E6000. So you know how I'm going to do that. And that's why I wanted to be sure that I got the back of it marked and the front of it marked so I knew where the top was. Be very easy to put this on. Try to just flip it around without laying it down. I don't want to get anything on that glue. But it'll go right up in here against this part so that stabilizes it. And well, maybe I need to turn the camera up a little bit. There we go. Right up here against the lip is where it's going to go. And that'll stabilize it at the top of it. This is not heavy. It's a plastic plate. So it's going to be very simple made up. And you'll get to see it when it's all done. I'll show it on the show Monday. And if you want to see it before then, you go over to the Etsy store once I get it listed on there. And you'll see it there. So there is our mermaid vignette on the charger. So hope you enjoyed this. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it on your social media so everybody gets to see how it was made. And if you haven't subbed, please do check out my Etsy store. The URL to it is on the banner on the channel. It's also in the description of the video. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'll be happy to address them for you. And hey, we'll see you in the next exciting episode. Who knows what I'll do next. Remember, Brenda's crafty. Be like Brenda. Hard to maneuver. There we go. So there's that piece. Now we're going to turn her over. And that won't be activated until we peel the foam, or peel the peelings off of that foam. Now, up here on her, I need to fussy cut just a little bit. The die left a little too much of the white border right there around her head, so I'm going to cut just a smidge of that off of there to ease that up. Then, same right here on this fin, there's just a smidge needs to be taken off of there. If you don't get that off of there, then she's not going to have the three-dimensional look. There's a little piece on the tip of her hair. Well, get it turned so I can see it good. There we go. And a little piece right there. And a little piece right there. There, that looks good. That looks good. Well, I say that and then I set it down and the light hits it. And I see another little piece right there. Okay. So I think we got her looking pretty good. Now, in order to offset it just a little bit, I want to see what direction I want to go with this. And that will tell me where I need to put the tape for the next one. So I'm thinking that if I set her off just a little bit like that, that would probably be good. So up and to the right, just a touch. I'll take my little strip of tape here again. And we know we can come as far to the right as we want to come because we're going to set it up and to the right. So we will put that down right here on this side of her, like that. And then we'll take another strip and put it over here like that. And we're going to need a little bit down here on the bottom. I'm thinking cut it this way. And that's going to need to be trimmed down. So we'll put that right in there like that. That looks good to me. Now, we can peel this and put the second one down on top of it. One. Two. And three. That stuff is sticky. Mercy, mercy. Okay. So we take Mermaid number 2. We're going to put her up and to the right just a little bit for the three-dimensional effect. There's a little piece of tape showing there. I don't like that. So let me peel that back just a little bit. Get my scissors, tip of my scissors in there, cut that loose. That's better. Okay, looking good. Now we need Mermaid number 3. And she's going to go off just a touch more. Her. And again, it'll be up and to the right. Whichever direction you go with them, you want to keep going that direction. Now, she's got a little bit of white on the edge of her that the die cutter didn't cut. I didn't get it centered exactly right, apparently. So we're going to trim that off of there. Little fussy cutting. little more here. See, after doing all that coloring and stuff on them with the markers and all this work, I want it to look three-dimensional. I don't want anything to ruin it at this point. If it takes a couple minutes to fussy cut, trim it, that's what we're going to do. Alright. And still, there's a little white there. See, a little white on them edges. Anything other than perfect is not going to suit me on this. Okay. There we go. In that little teeny tiny place right there is a little bit of white needs trimmed loose. And that's looking pretty good to me. So, now we've got that ready to go. We'll put some tape on this one and put the last layer on. So I'm going to peel this. Well, got the back of it peeled already. We'll go ahead and just lay this one on there. And get another piece of tape. Cut another strip. And lay it down there. No, I don't like that. So we'll do it this way. This goes right here. And this will go right here. And this will go right here. Yeah, too much. Well, that's still too much. No matter which way I go with it. There, that looks good right there. Then I'll take another little piece. Put it right in here. So it's going to go up and to the right. Well, that's going to show. Cut her down. And probably need a little bit down here. And I want to dry fit it before I go to sticking it on. Let's see if I can make that work. So I don't want any of that tape to show. Yeah, that looks like it's going to be absolutely perfect right there. Cool beans. That's what I like. So we're going to peel all this backing paper off and stick her on there. Well, it's easy for me to say. Let's lay it down here where we have something to jab at. There we go. Alright. Let's do that. And let's do this. Okay. That's looking pretty good right there. We got her layered up. She's three-dimensional. Now, we got to do the same thing for 2 fish and 2 turtles. So I'm going to do them, get them ready to rock, and when I get ready to mount it all to the charger, I will be back.